The Korean entertainment world is abuzz with the return of the iconic Jun Ji-hyun in a thorny and tragic new role. The series opens with a devastating shock. Her powerful husband, presidential candidate Jang Jun-ho, is assassinated right before her eyes. Before she can even process her grief, Moon-ju, played by Jun Ji-hyun, is betrayed by her husband's family, who falsely accuse her of trying to steal his fortune. But hidden behind this personal tragedy is a terrifying political storm about to break. And Moon-ju, whether she likes it or not, is at its very center. The story is set against a backdrop of intense national security tensions, as North Korea threatens to deploy nuclear missiles, pushing the peninsula to the brink of war. In this volatile climate, Moon-ju's husband, Jang Jun-ho, emerges as a moderate politician championing the unification of the two Koreas. For the sake of her husband's ideals, Moon-ju, then a spokesperson for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, agrees to step back from the spotlight. An ominous warning from the current president, Choi Kyung-sun, that this path is too risky, seems to foreshadow a bloody future. And then, fate struck at a church. Just before giving a pivotal speech, Jang Jun-ho gave his wife a cross necklace and offered a strange piece of advice about a peach, a fruit he had never eaten. Amid a sea of protesters, a lone gunman rushed forward, ending the presidential candidate's life. In his dying moments, Jang Jun-ho could only hold Moon-ju tight, pull the necklace from her neck, and whisper once more about the peach. All hope was extinguished. At the same time, a mysterious agent named San-ho emerged from the shadows, controlling the chaos but unable to save his target's life. Jang Jun-ho's death marks the beginning of Moon-ju's second tragedy. Her husband's family, their faces masks of false grief, immediately attacks her with vicious words, blaming her for not having children and accusing her of plotting to seize their assets. Jang Jun-ho's will only adds fuel to the fire. His entire fortune, worth hundreds of billions of won, is left solely to Moon-ju. Their greed and cruelty are laid bare, especially that of her brother-in-law, who, while still mourning his brother, hastily announces his own presidential candidacy. Facing this ruthless assault, Moon-ju, a woman whose mother taught her to always hold her head high, makes a bold decision. She will donate the entire inheritance and leave Korea. This declaration instantly exposes the hypocrisy of her brother-in-law, who quickly suggests she donate the money to his campaign fund instead. While isolated and besieged, Moon-ju is approached once again by the agent, San-ho. He appears mysteriously, returning the repaired cross necklace and bringing the first clues of a horrifying conspiracy. San-ho believes the assassin was merely a pawn. The evidence he presents sends a chill down Moon-ju's spine. A phone number on the killer's business card was wiped from all systems moments after San-ho tried to call it. And security footage shows the assassin meeting with her own brother-in-law before the attack. Moon-ju is pulled into a deadly vortex. The husband she deeply loved has been murdered. His family now sees her as an enemy. And this mysterious agent, is he a friend or a foe? Is this assassination driven by family greed? Or is it a brutal political chess game manipulated by forces she could never have imagined? The storm has only just begun. During a fateful campaign event, Seo Moon-ju faces a brutal terrorist plot. She is trapped in a deadly chair, rigged with a pressure-sensitive bomb. If she stands up, it will explode. But if she remains seated, a countdown timer will also lead her to her death. Time is running out. San-ho, her secret bodyguard, rushes to her in desperation. The clock shows only 9 minutes left. As he rips open the chair's cushion, a complex killing machine is revealed, complete with secondary sensors and a reinforced steel mesh. Disarming it is impossible. The bomb squad is too far away. Amid the panic, Moon-ju keeps a clear head, using her phone to record the countdown. 6 minutes remain. San-ho's attempt to cut the wires fails. In a moment that hangs by a thread, he makes an unbelievable decision to sacrifice himself. Without a word of explanation, he uses all his strength to lift Moon-ju and, in a flash, takes her place. Moon-ju is safe, but San-ho now faces death. The explosion rips through the train car. San-ho is critically injured, but he survives. Looking at the man covered in wounds for her sake, Moon-ju's heart is filled with remorse, for she had once suspected him. The bombing was no random act. It was the culmination of Moon-ju's quiet investigation into the tragic death of her husband, Jang Jun-ho. She discovers that right before his assassination, her husband said something cryptic. "There's a hamster watching me." Hamster, that was the nickname he used for his younger brother, Jun Chong. The first horrifying piece of the puzzle falls into place. The enemy was right beside her all along. The nightmare continues when her best friend, Mig, is kidnapped. The man behind it is none other than Jun Chong. Over the phone, he coldly throws a shocking accusation at her. "My brother was a spy." He justifies his actions as being for the greater good of the nation, claiming Jang Jun-ho's death was necessary to prevent a war. He tries to sow discord, casting doubt on Sanho's identity as a mercenary. But Moon-ju is unshaken. She knows all too well the sick jealousy Jun Chong has always harbored for his brother. Backed into a corner, Moon-ju goes to the church and faces another attack. The would-be assassin leaves behind a mysterious message, the whale in the deep sea. This clue leads her to a truth far greater than her family tragedy. Sanho reveals a world-shattering secret. A letter from the US government confirms that North Korea has deployed a nuclear submarine. And the world is on the verge of a devastating war. Her husband knew this, and he was killed precisely because he wanted to stop it. Moon-ju realizes her fight is no longer about avenging her husband, but about saving an entire nation. She takes this secret to the current president, Choi Kyung-sun, who confirms the threat and urges her to act. From a grieving widow, Moon-ju transforms into a decisive politician. She confronts her mother-in-law, a powerful, iron lady, and makes a bold deal. She will use her entire massive inheritance in exchange for backing in the race for the Blue House. An alliance is formed, using evidence of corruption and other political trump cards. The mother-in-law clears a path for Moon-ju, turning her from a political unknown into the leading candidate. At Gwangwon Square, Moon-ju's speech touches the hearts of millions, sending her approval ratings soaring. After everything, she officially asks Sanho to become her teammate. Now, they share a common goal: to prevent war, build peace, and face the most brutal political storm together. Beyond the breathtaking action sequences and political intrigue of Tümpest, the first 3 episodes embed a deeper layer of meaning, told through the language of dreams. 2 dreams, one belonging to Seo Moon-ju and the other to Baek Sanho, are not just illusions but precise reflections of their complex inner worlds, revealing the paths of their destinies. The series opens with Seo Moon-ju's narration of a strange dream, where her own image is nothing but a vague, blurry silhouette. In contrast, her husband, presidential candidate Jang Jun-ho, appears in sharp detail, only to collapse in a pool of blood after a single gunshot. This is not merely a nightmare. It is the voice of a buried desire and the pain of a dead self. Moon-ju, a talented diplomat with dreams of becoming president, had to abandon the international stage to become the shadow behind her husband. The death in the dream is not Jang Jun-ho's, but that of her own career, identity, and freedom. Dream and reality are cruelly inverted. In her dream, her own self dies. In real life, the husband in whom she invested her ambitions is the one who truly falls. The screenwriter uses a powerful metaphor to foreshadow that Moon-ju's journey can only begin when her dependence on her husband is permanently severed. If Moon-ju's dream is an anguished self-examination, then Baek Sanho's perspective portrays her as a symbol, a redeeming ideal. To him, a mercenary trapped in a world of violence, Moon-ju's televised speech about peace was like a beacon of light. She became his spiritual anchor, a value he was willing to believe in. This distant connection is gradually broken, and in a highly symbolic dream sequence, he becomes the hand that pulls her to the glorious summit of a mountain. The camera angle, looking up from below, not only expresses Sanho's absolute admiration, the man who vows to be her silent protector, but also plants the seed of a tragic premonition. When she stands at the highest peak and looks back, will the man who brought her there still be present? This is a hauntingly somber note, leaving open the possibility of a heartbreaking conclusion. Tümpest excels not only in its use of metaphor. The relationship between the 2 main characters is an explosive yet silent chemistry. Though no words of love have been spoken, every glance they share is filled with profound emotion. The climax is the scene in episode 3 where they swap places in the deadly chair, a perfect dance between romance and mortality, where sacrifice is more powerful than any confession of love. Alongside this is an ambitious political storyline that tackles pressing issues from inter-Korean peace to the threat of nuclear war. The brightest spot is that the story is driven by a cast of powerful female characters. From presidential candidate Seo Moon-ju to the kingmaker, mother-in-law, who makes a brutally pragmatic move to abandon her incompetent biological son and join forces with her daughter-in-law, a new political force is created. In summary, in just 3 episodes, Tümpest has proven itself to be a masterclass in screenwriting. The show masterfully balances the tension of a thriller with deep character introspection, using the language of dreams as a key to unlock a captivating, complex, and promising story.